Okay, so I'm adding another segment to my collection of videos. My wife and I just bought this property. Actually, we're signing documents today. So our property doesn't begin here yet. And we're in the pickup and it's a dirt road, so the camera's going to move around a little, but I wanted to take it so you can get an idea. We have mountains surrounding, but it's a nice level lot, which is pretty impossible to find in this part of the state of Sonora. So it's a hectare, which is a little bit under 2.5 acres. So I'll just call out where the starting point is and I'll work my way right through it. So you can see this entry ahead, and at this second post, if you draw a line backwards from where we're coming is where it starts. So I'm going to turn around, or maybe I'll just continue with this and I'll see where it takes us. There's kind of a canal in here and we may not be able to do it. This part doesn't belong to us. This belongs to someone else, but in order to get the origin, I had to come through here. And I've had a request, you know, for some folks who know where my house is in town, they've requested that I make a video of the drive, which is about 15 or 20 minutes. And I don't want to add 15 or 20 minutes to what's already going to be about 10 or 12 or 15 minutes doing this. So I'll just put 2 different segments on the YouTube channel and explain what they are. So as soon as we get through these 2 posts, starting with the post on the left here, that's where our property begins, straight away. So I'll find the other pathway and we'll get on it. Take a little dip over the canal here. So there, in this whole patch, there will be, I think, 5 or 6 residents max. So some of these folks already have their houses here. So these 2 trees just ahead, they pretty much mark 6 meters from the fence of this house on my right. And that's going to be a right-of-way for everybody. So our property line begins right over here where these trees are at the 6 meter mark, and I'm going to drive with the front wheel right up to it. Just at this side of the tree there's a little mark. So from where we were at the post to here, that's the width. It's 27.9 meters at the entry, and we had to kind of do it a little bit odd shaped, just simply because we had to leave accommodations for the right-of-ways. Now, once we got back to this area where things opened up, our property goes almost to that hillside. Pretty much if you just take that mark, now there's an orange marker up here and I'm headed right toward it, and that marks the west boundary. You can see the orange marker there in the tree, and they have a monument down below, and I'm going to come in and put in more permanent monuments. Now, we can't even drive yet to where the other limit is, but if you look straight ahead, this way, it's about 100 meters over there's another monument or another marker, and there's a mountainside, and we had to take part of the mountainside. Now we'll get past these trees and we'll try to get a better view. But if you look at the mountainside here, there's a fence way back there, and it's a good distance. But there's a marker, and then there's a marker up on the hillside. So it kind of runs on an angle. But the property, it has one line that's full length, and then about halfway back it expands. But it all adds up to 1,000 square meters. And with the size of this, I mean, it's so big, you could do almost anything with it. So the next step is going to be to come in here and get a fence put up. And that way I can bring my dog and let him run around. I don't have to worry about him running out on the road. Pretty much here to my left, if you can look at the corner of that property and you measure out 6 meters, that's all for the right-of-way. And of course that line continues straight back to the other orange marker I pointed out earlier. And then from that orange marker, the property gets wider as it goes over toward the mountainside. Now, from all the other videos, everybody has pretty much seen the way things look at the house and the neighborhood, and it's crowded. And you know, I'm used to living with a little bit of ground around me, and sure, it's not a ranch, like a big ranch, but you know, 2.5 acres, that provides for a little bit of comfort, a little bit of elbow room, so to speak. So I'm going to pull through the entry gate out to the road, and I'll close the gate. So you just have to kind of bear with me while the camera idles for about 30 seconds. And then we're going to take a drive about 2 kilometers on the way back to the house, but we're not going to the house yet. We're going to the house of the attorney who's handling the paperwork for us, because we have documents to sign with him this morning. So everyone just hold tight. Okay, we're back. So this 2-lane road, which they keep in pretty good repair, it has some bad spots. Not much worse than what I grew up with in Pennsylvania. I always joke about it, saying nobody from Pennsylvania should ever criticize Mexican roads because they're of about the same quality. So just a minute or two here, we'll enter one of the other little communities. This was all agricultural land grant. Goes back practically to the beginning of sovereignty for Mexico. And a lot of these people, you know, own hundreds of thousands of acres. And you know, it's been passed down for generations. As they don't want to farm anymore, now they're selling it off. And you have to have a relationship or they won't sell it to you. Because, you know, after all, you're going to be the neighbors. So wife's motioning me here. She's filming, but I don't know why. She's telling me to cut it. I don't want to cut it yet. So I want to cut it once we reach our turnoff, which is just a couple minutes away. And then the next segment will film the rest of the route. So if we were to continue on this road as we're going, another 15 minutes we'd be back at our house. And I didn't shoot it eastbound from the house because it's early morning and the sun would just make things impossible. I'm having to do the filming and the driving now. But you can see how the mountains in Sonora look. Topographically, it's really pretty here. But of course in town, like anywhere else, you know, they really built it up. So kind of took away well, as any city does, you take away the beauty of the nature. And hopefully, we stopped here at the house once and Carlos, this attorney, wasn't there. We met him last night for a bit and he prepared the documents, but his wife said he had another obligation this morning and he has a kid having a birthday party, so he's out running around taking care of family business and his business. So here's the turnoff. His little community is called Lopez, Mateos. And I don't know how it's coming out yet, but that big white house here to which we're heading is his place. And you can see the community, you know, what they do is everyone who buys a lot in one of these areas pitches in. So they'll put in a community water tank or a community well. And some of the people are doing small-scale farming, so you always see farm equipment around and the shelters for it. So, all right, we're coming into the entry, so I'll cut it.